Hello, I am Roaringbug, and welcome to my Sims 4 speed build. Today I am doing a shell challenge called SatchOnSims Shell number 1, and I found this shell challenge on YouTube. So, the creator of this shell challenge, Satch, said that this shell looked like a rocking horse with fart waves coming out of its butt, and I thought that was pretty funny, and it's a really weird looking shell, and I thought I had to try it. So as you can see, I am putting a platform on the roof of this shell challenge just so I can hide all the weird bits. And in the spirit of Halloween, I am turning this shell into a Gothic house. And right now I am roofing this thing. I'm turning this tower into like this weird Gothic tower, and I turn this fart wave into this gazebo looking thing so that it looks like a fancy garden piece. And I really wish that these fart wave things that I'm turning into a gazebo thing was just like a tile, maybe like 2 tiles away from the main house. Then I think it would look a little nicer, because it's just so darn close to the house. Because that little like cutaway into the building, I'm gonna turn that into the stairway from the main house to the backyard. And as you can see, it's really close. So right now I'm just using the move objects cheat just so I can raise those grass so that it looks like ivy stuff. And you know, I'm just swirling around looking at the build. And you know, I don't know how often you do, but I didn't realize till I started doing speed builds that I spin around a lot. Like, you don't know how much time I edit out, how many times I spin around, rotating, looking at my build. Because I'm always checking, like, did I miss a wall? Or does this look good from this side? Like, I just rotated and I wouldn't have even known that I put that roof piece on the wrong, like, level. So now I'm trying to roof the front piece. And the front has this curve. And the curve is really weird. It's like, it's not curved all around. So I'm attempting to like make it look like it's curved all around. And I think the platforms really help. And I put this tower in the front, and I think it really lends itself well to being a Gothic style house build. So, you know, I think it looks fine. And you know, I'm still struggling, as you can see, to put a roof over this. And this is when I finally get it together. And I ended up using this roof piece. And this is when I severely regretted putting curved roof pieces, like these curved platforms, on the roof. Though, for some reason, I've learned that even, like, I did this platform just to cover up the weird roof pieces, but doing a platform on top of your roof is actually really good, because sometimes when you have 2 roof pieces touching and they overlap, you get like this weird void glitch on the rim of the roof piece. But if you put a platform around the entire edge of the house, like I did here, you won't see it. So you won't see that weird gap. I mean, seeing a weird gap is like a minor thing, but you know, when you spend time making a build, because I spent like 2 hours making this build, little things like a little void gap really kind of like get your goat, because you're like, it's just so almost perfect. So right now I feel confident that this is looking like our house. Like, it doesn't look weird. So I was like, yes, it looks like a house. I'm so glad. Because it was just looking really strange. And I like this tower bit the most. I think it looks the least weird. Because there are so many angles that are really weird on this build. So yeah, I put that platform to make a little deck. And now I put like a little deck here just to fill in this space. And this is when I decided to use a curved platform piece, just so that it would make that weird piece look like it's curved all around. And this is when I was really proud of myself, because I turned that corner edge into a curved platform as well, and you're gonna see it soon. Oh, also, like, I put that fancy like trimming for the pillars. I don't know if you would consider that cheating or not. I mean, it technically is a wall because I drew a wall, but I'm not keeping it as a wall because I'm just using it so I can add a decorative piece. But I don't really know. I think it's allowed because it's not technically a wall, because I said I'm just using it for decorative purposes. And I put this deck through that weird opening under the tower because I figured it looked nicer that way if it had it's like a private walkway from the front of the house into the backyard. So yeah, like I said, I'm not counting it that I put this weird thing there just like with the decorations on the top, because it just looks so plain when I leave it alone. And curved walls are so glitchy. I could only fit 3 windows on that curved piece, and I was like, I want to fit more, but you know, I'm not gonna get mad. I was like, if I can fit 3, that's fine. So now I put this doorway, and that's gonna lead into the backyard. And I put these stairs so that you can have access to this second floor tower. And you know, I used bb.move objects. If not, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to do some of the things I did in this build. So you see these windows I put by the stairs? That would never happen if I didn't have bb.move objects on. So if you want to up your building game, I would definitely recommend either going through YouTube tutorials on how to build, and it'll tell you like all the tricks in order to build. You know, because most people have a hard time figuring out how to do roofing. Like, I remember I had such a hard time doing roofing when I first learned how to play The Sims. So I put this double bed in this really narrow room, and it just has a half tile on either side, and it's still functional on either side when you have at least a half tile space around a double bed. And I did some testing, and I had my sim like go on either side of the bed, so I know that definitely works. But because I put that bed down, I ran with like a blue-green theme. And even though this house has like kind of like an intimidating Gothic look, the inside is really sweet and really cutesy. It just has like this really flurry, like greeny colored theme throughout the entire house. It's filled with like blues and greens. And you know, I think that kitchen makes sense because it like shows right out into that balcony area. And eventually, I don't do it right now, but eventually I'll put a barbecue there. So you can just like imagine like, hey, your sim, they can cook or they can go out and have the barbecue. So I thought that'd be pretty neat. And now I am drawing out this second bedroom. So the second bedroom, I eventually will furnish as a kid's bedroom. And, you know, I'm just switching back and forth. I'm like jumping around. Like 1 minute I'm doing a bedroom, the next minute I'm doing like the balcony. Like I'm doing like the deck area for the backyard. And I can't really explain myself why I jump around. I just do. Like 1 minute, like I'll work on something and then I'll lose a little bit of patience and I'll just work on another part of the house. I don't know if other people work the same way, but that's what I do. And now I'm putting all of these little roof pieces just to fancy it up. And you know, that little like circly window design on everything. And putting down some corbels. So, you know, all these like little trims and pieces like make the house look less like a gray mass and more define its contours so that you can actually see the shape of the house. So I put down these wooden slates just so that I can beautify this house because it just has really weird edges and I just wanted to like make it a little bit more interesting to look at. Like especially on that tower, like that's just an empty gray stone wall. So I thought if I put that climbing plant on the outside, it would look a lot more prettier. So now I am moving on to outdoor lighting. And I just use the same like hanging pendant light in front of all like the exterior doorway areas and underneath that tower. And now I'm putting some like plants, like hanging plants outside of this little gazebo walkway area. I'm not even sure what to call it, but it looks like it belongs in a garden. So I'm just putting a whole bunch of those out there and putting this fake window stuff on the back of the house because I realized the back of the house looks pretty plain. And I got a few new packs. So for those who don't know, The Sims 4 base game is free and they have a sale for all of their like extra packs. So most of the gameplay ones are 50% off and I think like the kits and stuff are like 30% off. And you know, I took advantage of the deal, so I got a couple of new like packs for my game, and one of them is Island Living, and it came with all these plants, and I love them. I think they look really good, and I ended up making this garden look pretty lush with all of these plants. That cabbage looking plant, I'm kind of surprised that I don't know if it comes in the Island Living pack or it came with cats and dogs because I got both at the same time. But, you know, I've seen those cabbagey looking plants in where I live, and I live on the east coast of the US, and I was like, oh, wow, those cabbagey looking plants. I didn't expect them to be in the game. So yeah, I'm just going to town, just making all these fancy lush gardening. And I put down this fence, and this fence is a debug fence. And if for those who don't know, debug is basically like all the decorative houses that you don't have any access to. They're just like the window dressing around the world in The Sims. So you know, if you like opened up the cheat menu, you can like get all these debug items, and they're just the window dressing items in the world. And your Sims can't interact with them. They're just there to be decoration. Like I've had Sims like walk right through debug fences. So, you know, they're good for decorative items, also like for gameplay as well. Because when you play The Sims, your Sims actually get a bill for their lot, and it's usually based on how like the expense of their items on their lot. So if you have like a really expensive fridge, like your Sims will have extra expensive bills. But if you use debug items for some of the decoration and they have zero costs, your Sim doesn't have to pay for it. So, you know, just a tip. Also, if you want to learn more about how to play The Sims, you can always just watch other gameplays on YouTube or tutorials on YouTube, and you know, a couple of like links online too. Like I usually use like Carl's guide for The Sims, and he basically makes like a whole handbook guide on anything you want to know about The Sims gameplay. So right now I'm just putting down some more decorations in the dining room and in the living room. So right now I'm putting down a TV and some wall art. Personally, I don't really put down much clutter in my gameplays. So, you know, but if you download this house, you can decorate it any way you want. So right now I just made it in this really green motif style. So this tower room, I just turned it into a skill building room, and it has a computer and it has an easel. So if you're new to The Sims, having your Sims paint will earn them quite a bit of simoleons pretty fast. And now I believe the build is more or less done. I'm just gonna do now is just some terrain paint. And I don't really go crazy with terrain paint. I just kind of do a little bit of dirt everywhere, and that's it. You know, just to give it a little bit more realism. And now I'm doing some more lighting, outdoor lighting, but for the backyard. So it's a little bit dark, and I add some lights underneath that gazebo looking thing. And I think it looks pretty nice. Like, you know, you can just imagine your Sim walking on a nice warm summer's day through their back garden with that gazebo, looking at all the foliage and plants and the fauna and flora outside under that large tree. I mean, it looks very romantic and nice. And now I'm just putting curtains everywhere, because I usually do curtains last. It's kind of like an afterthought to do curtains, because your Sims don't really care if there's curtains or not. And this is when I decided to turn the bathroom into a shower tub combo. And I edited it out, but it took me quite a long time to put that sink in the right spot. And I think that bench is the last thing I add. So if you like my build, you can get it off the gallery at roaringbug. And please like, subscribe, or leave me a comment. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.